Hi friends, welcome to Chetan Tutorial YouTube channel. In this video we are going to discuss about the types of chemical reactions. In the previous video we had discussed about combination and the decomposition reaction. In this video we are going to discuss about displacement and the double displacement reaction. Before going to the discussion of the displacement reaction, we should know the reactivity series of the metals. All metals are not of the same type. We have arranged their reactivity. We have arranged the metals in the reactivity series. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, and the gold. Mercury, silver, and gold. This is called as the reactivity series. Here hydrogen is not a non-metal. It is not a metal. It is a non-metal. But we have kept in the reactivity series of the metal because to compare the metals reactivity series, we have just we have added the hydrogen in this reactivity series. That's why we have written in the bracket form. Potassium is more reactive than the sodium and sodium is more reactive than the calcium. Why it is so reactive? Because it can lose the electron very easily compared to the sodium. What is meant by reactivity means if any atom loses the electrons very readily, very easily, then that type of atom is called as the more reactive atom. So potassium loses the electrons and makes a bond with other atom or the element. That's why it is potassium is more reactive. Whereas compared to the sodium and the calcium, sodium is more reactive. It will lose its one outermost electron from its orbit and makes a bond with the other atom. So potassium is more reactive than the sodium and sodium is more reactive than the calcium. So they will readily lose the electrons. Whereas if you come down in the reactivity series, as you come down, whereas the gold it is very less reactive. It will not at all react at high temperature also. Compared to silver it will react and you can see a black coating of the black coating over the silver if you keep the silver ornaments or silver articles for a few months or the few years. Whereas gold, it is not at all react with other elements. That's why we will use as an ornaments. So coming to the displacement reaction. Displacement reaction is the reaction where more reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal from its aqueous solution. Once again, more reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal from its aqueous solution. So the metal which is more reactive is alone and the less reactive metal, you can see copper, iron is more reactive than the copper. Iron is more reactive than the copper. So the metal which is more reactive should be alone and the copper which is less reactive should be in the aqueous form. Okay. So more reactive metal and we have to take a less reactive metal from the in the form of aqueous solution. It should be a compound, whereas it should be a pure metal form. What happens as you keep the iron, if you keep the iron article or iron nail into the copper sulfate solution, what happens after few minutes, after some time, copper sulfate solution, blue color copper sulfate solution fades down. Means what? Copper sulfate solution is blue in color. As you keep the iron nails or iron articles in the copper sulfate solution, blue color solution becomes light blue color. Means what happens? It will dim blue color will take place. So it will give you FeSO4 plus copper. What is happening? As it is a more reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. More reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal and this will come here and it will eliminate the copper and will get the copper in the form of the sol in the copper. One more example, zinc plus copper sulfate in the form of aqueous solution. Zinc, it is a more reactive metal than the copper. Zinc is more reactive than the copper. So zinc will displace the copper. Zinc will displace the copper from the copper sulfate solution and zinc combines with the sulfate ions and ZnSO4 is formed and Cu is formed. One more equation. Lead reacts with copper chloride, and copper, as it is more reactive than the copper, this will displace this and gives PbCl2 plus Cu. So this is about the displacement reaction.